Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of On the Range podcast. This is a solo edition. I'm your host, Mark Kelley. Rick is out of town. He's attending the SHOT Show out in Las Vegas. I'm sure we will see some content. Going to cover the inauguration, the 60th inauguration of 45 and now 47 President Donald J. Trump. Let's go ahead and listen in a little bit on his comments after he was sworn in.
They tried like hell in the butt. They tried to do it, and around 9:02 they gave up. Last time they did bad things. At this time they just said, yes. I don't know if you saw Mr. Speaker in Washington. They had placards. They were all set to march. They thought it'd be closer. A gentleman asked me, a very respected gentleman asked me yesterday, how come the polls were so wrong? They showed you winning, but not in a landslide. I said, because people that are true Trumpers are so angry at the whole polling system and at the writers, the fake news, that they don't want to talk to anybody. So when you call somebody from Trump, who are you voting for? They say, it's none of your business. I'm not telling you. And that was probably 40% of the people they called. So they would discard that one, and they didn't show that. And then when the election happened, the vote came, and it was much different, much higher than we're going to win. But they really thought, they couldn't believe the one man said, it was so much higher. We won all 7 swing states. We won the popular vote by millions of votes, which is hard for a Republican. I'll tell you who came through. The unions came through. The auto workers were great. The Teamsters were great. The firemen were great. I think almost every union was great. The only one that weren't great, although Sean was great, and the Teamsters, Sean O'Brien, the head of the Teamsters, was fantastic. But generally speaking, the head of the union was against Trump, but the union would be with us for like 80, 85%. Look what we did with the auto workers in Michigan. Look what we did with the Teamsters. The Teamsters were unbelievable. They were a solid Democrat vote, and they voted for Trump. So we had a great experience. This has been, now we have to go to work and get it done.
If you're just joining us, this is 47 in the Emancipation Hall in the U.S. Capitol. We'll talk a little bit more about that.
And I think
got some live now from Fox On.
I made upstairs, okay? I think this was better, JD. I think this was much better, and I got to see my friend. So, Governor, take care of yourself. You call me, we'll start working. You know what that means with him. He's going to be calling me tomorrow morning at about 6.
If you're listening, he's
how about next week?
Recognizing the great governor of Texas.
We'll really help you a lot. You've done a fantastic job protecting something which it's not supposed to be for the states. And amazing job you've done. Thank you very much. And I want to thank everybody. And I have a first lady who's been incredible. I shouldn't say this. I'm going to get hell when I say this, but her feet are absolutely aching. You know, those heels. And we thought we were leaving. We were going home. Sir, would you be able to go down and say hello to some of your other fans that are here? I said, oh, I didn't know that. Wow. Did you get to see pretty clearly the picture, I hope? Good. That's good. But because you wouldn't want to make the same speech again, right? But she said, darling, I love you so much, but my feet are killing me. I said, honey, let me just see how far it is. I asked the person. Oh, not that long, maybe 400 or 500 yards. That's 5 football fields. I said, can you make it? She said, we're going to make it no matter what. We're going to make it because we have to go. Right? Right? And then we went out to the helicopter just prior to this and said goodbye. And it's a custom. And the wind is blowing like crazy. And with the hat that she's wearing, she almost blew away. We almost lost off her. She was being elevated off the ground. She almost blew away. No. So we all appreciate it because you've been a great first lady. A beautiful and a great first lady. And they love our first lady. You know, JD, whenever I make a speech, I see hundreds of times, we love our first lady. And they do. And they should. She's great.
Yeah, so they're in the Emancipation Hall. for all you listeners and viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in. I didn't want to interrupt. I wanted to make sure that everyone had a chance to watch the 60th inauguration for the 47th president, Donald Trump. And besides, I wanted to watch it too. He was sworn in. It was a great ceremony. I got some thoughts on that. We'll probably do a show on that tomorrow so I can put together some clips. He's been sworn in. He and J.D. Vance, they did the ceremonious send-off to the former president and vice president. Once that was over, they had a quick meeting with their family members. Of course, this is all at the Capitol. And then they went to the Emancipation Room to greet some of the individuals that were inside that had a closed circuit television to watch the ceremonies. Of course, the bleachers were completely empty outside because of the weather. And yeah, I mean, we're going to watch some of this. This is going to be a signing ceremony and some other things going on. So we're going to track that for a while. But I got to tell you, before I get going any further, and forget to do this, which I know I wouldn't, but I want to do it right up in the front. Hats off to all the men and women in uniform. Hats off to all the Secret Service. Hats off to all of those individuals who are traveling from their home area to assist. Stay safe. Stay safe. We here, including myself, first and foremost, love all of you men and women in uniform, all the first responders that are helping that make these things happen. I'll be honest with you, I had some concerns. I've got loved ones, dear friends who are out there right now helping to make sure that this goes off without a hitch. And in true professionalism, everybody involved, they realized that the weather was going to be a problem. They didn't want to see any cold injuries. They didn't want to see people standing out there uncomfortable, and they did everything they could to turn this thing into indoors so that they could go off without a hitch and everybody can enjoy it. Now, I know not everybody's going to be happy with that. I understand. It's a tough call. They made it, and they made it work, and they did a good job. And like I said, I'll do a show on that tomorrow. But again, I want to say thank you to all of the men and women in uniform who are out there, because they still have to go out there and do their duty no matter what the temperatures are. But even with the pivot, they're still out there doing their thing. And once I hear word from them and that they're up and running, listening, I hope they jump on and say hello. Let us know that they're doing okay. But I always worry about those men and women. In my state of life, I say boys and girls, but I love them. But anyway, just to let you know that I didn't want to go on there and jump on while they were giving his speech. I want everybody to focus on that. And I didn't want to be another one to broadcast that live. Thanks to those who did. I know Betty Johnson did a good job. Fox Live now, with all the disasters, I got to tell you, give them some love. Go look at their YouTube and their channel on YouTube TV as well. They do a heck of a job. And Rick and I have used them a lot during some of our broadcasts. And they're always on. And they're very good at what they do, and I appreciate that. But the president's still there in the Emancipation Room. You know, a little backstory. My son and I had an opportunity, my oldest boy, he is in the military. Proud of him, proud of all the kids, but he's in the military still. And he is doing his duty today. I'm sure he has the day off. I'm sure he's enjoying this as well. But he and I got a chance to do some work in the DC area, visiting some things. Some friends of mine in the industry was able to get us in and do some tours at some of these locations. And the Emancipation Room is just unbelievable. The room, the Tundra where the swearing in occurred, is an absolutely amazing room. I thought everybody did a fantastic job. Hats off to the planners and the committee of the inauguration. They did a fantastic job. I thought it was efficient, in and out. We got some images of the former president, 46, entering, I guess they would call that executive one. I don't know. They don't call it Air Force One anymore, I don't think, since he is not an active president. But got some images of him debarking. Again, that's live one on Fox. So go check that out if you're watching. If you're listening, that's what we got going on. So I thought a lot of these folks did a great job. I thought they had the military folks with the choirs and the bands at the forefront. Carrie Underwood, the American tenor who did some of the other singing, like the Star Spangled Banner, did a great job. I thought the speeches were good. The benediction was good. And I got some thoughts on, there's one a character that just nailed it. I want to talk about him once I learn more about him tomorrow. But yeah, they're going to have their luncheons coming up now. There's some images of the folks that are waiting for the president to arrive. But hats off. I know he's going to try, and he's always done this. And in my past and in my business, Rick and I, we've had opportunities to do these type of gigs. And it is not Special Air Mission 1 is what the call sign for Air Force One. Okay, thank you, Joseph. Very good, pal. Thanks for joining in. Let's get a shout out to Joseph. He's on there for clearing that up. I knew it had a different call sign, but thank you very much for that, Joseph. But we've had a lot of opportunity to work with some very good people. And I'm going to tell you right now, in the Secret Service, in the Capitol Police, they're going to say the exact same thing I'm saying right now. These things, these huge events cannot happen without local law enforcement, state police, local National Guard, and all these other men and women that are joining in to help protect and make sure that the folks attending can get in and out, that are safely doing that. The protectees, the principal of the security detail, those people are safe, and that it all goes off without a hitch. There's a lot of people that are involved in that, and none of this could happen without the local law enforcement officers, fire department, fire personnel. Without them there, there's no main force. There's no people to do these things that need to be done at the direction and at the suggestion of the Secret Service. So hats off to all you men and women who are out there doing your thing. If you have any firsthand knowledge or you want to recognize some military or law enforcement individuals who are just doing a bang up job, Secret Service, whatever, go to be our guest at ontherangepodcast.com and send us a email, and we'll see if we can't get you on. But yeah, I don't know what room they're in. Hopefully they will give us an update on that. But they're getting ready for the luncheon. The president, I'm sure, will address. But the president is going to be doing a lot of addressing to these individuals who had to be moved from their bleacher spots or the spectator areas indoors. He's going to try to, and I know he will. I know how he operates. He is going to address every single one of those groups, guaranteed. Then, of course, he's going to get down to business, and we're going to talk a little bit about his address after he was sworn in. He's got a bunch of things that he outlined clearly, and there was nothing that was really surprising to me. Nothing really surprising in his speech, but he's going to start those executive orders immediately. A couple of the big things I wanted to talk about in his address. One is going to be the energy stuff, and the other is going to be the respectability of the United States being bolstered and being brought back to where it needs to be in the world. Those are huge, huge factors. And I'm going to give credit to where credit is due. You saw all the stuff coming out where people were not going to attend the inauguration. Well, many of them did. So hats off to them. Hats off to them. I know it's not easy to sit there and hear the truth about how some things were not done very well at all. Most things weren't actually, and some were just catastrophic. It wasn't easy for them to sit there and take it, but they did. So it is what it is. That's what happens when you win. They would do the same thing. Another thing, too, I want to talk about and get into during this broadcast is some of the memes that are going around and some of the interviews outside the halls of Capitol Hill and the hysteria. Nobody believes these things that women aren't going to have rights, that some people are in danger now because Donald Trump's the president. It's just not going to happen. No one believes that anymore. So everybody start sending me some of those things that you see. Love to highlight some of the hysteria and calm people down. Have a little fun as well. So let me bring this back in and let's see what they can give us an update on when the president is going to make his entrance at the luncheon.
With some of the live looks right here on Live Now from Fox, everyone.
All across all the agencies. And friends, supporters, Jill and I are forever grateful to you. I mean that. We're genuinely grateful. As you heard me say before, no president gets to choose the moment they enter history, but they get to choose the team they enter history with. And we chose the best damn team in the world. You are. No, it's because of you. I mean this sincere from the bottom of my heart. Because of you, we got so much done for all Americans. I look down there, my Secretary of State, Tony Blinken, exceeded only by his wife who worked in reverse. But look, I only hope to look back in these years, hope you look back on them, the same pride I have of all you've done. You know, I'm proud of is that you did it upholding the core values of honesty, decency, and integrity. I mean, no scandal. I mean, it's incredible what you did. And you represent the best
No
of who we are
scandal?
as Americans. That's not a joke.
That's a big question mark.
Real. Now, while I relied on your ideas and resolve and counsel, we also relied on your families. To all your families, thank you for the sacrifices you made. I mean it. For being part of this journey. Every day, I'm deeply moved by all we all did for this country. I really mean it. History's going to mark down just what you did. You know, but the point I want to make today is to make clear my farewell address, as we all do have we have a lot more to do. We heard the inaugural address today. We got a lot more to do. I know from many years of experience, they're up and down, but we have to stay with it. My dad taught me the measure of a person, you heard me say this before, is how quickly they get back up when they get knocked down. That's what we have to do right now. And we've always done our best as Americans. We never give up. Never. We're leaving office, but we're not leaving the fight. You're smart, you're skilled, you're passionate. The country needs you again. So all of you can, stay engaged in all the ways you can. Whether it's in public service, the private sector, philanthropy, academia, running for office yourself, or anything else you choose to do. I give you my word, we believe in you. We, Jill and I, our family, believe in you. Just as I've said, how the laws we enacted, our seeds are going to grow and bloom for decades to come. I say that to you as well. I have no doubt you'll make this experience and take the friendships you made to continue to do amazing things in decades to come. That's why I see a future. All of it leading the way by you all. You know, so take some time to decompress, reconnect with your friends, spend more time with your family. But most of all, take care of yourselves and each other. I mean it. Let me close where I began with my sincere gratitude. And I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. I've been doing this for 50 years to the best group of people. Hard to say. It's been the honor of my life.
He's having a little trouble with his volume control.
And I tell you what, the greater honor is being able to serve with all of you. You're incredible. You really are. You really are. Mark my words. History's going to judge what you've done as one of the most significant contributions that's been made by all of America. Look, folks, you know, let me close with that poem you heard me quote before. Seamus Haney wrote, "Once in a lifetime, the longed-for tidal wave of justice will rise up and hope and mystery rhyme. You made it rhyme louder than it's rhymed in a long
Oh my gosh.
I really mean it. We're
Oh.
on the cusp of real change, so let's make hope in history rhyme. I love you all. I'm keeping you too long, but thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Bottom of our heart, thank you.
Well, the former president is now getting ready to leave D.C. Actually, I think those comments were a few moments ago, and then we have some other images of the inaugural luncheon that's going to take place here shortly. They're going to be waiting for the president to come in. Like I said, he's got a lot of things he's got to sign. He's got to do initially, and then he will start at the luncheon, make some, I'm sure he'll make remarks there, and then he'll have some other places to make remarks. Then, of course, he's got some more stuff he's got to do as far as signing executive orders. I think he had close to 200 that he was talking about. And in the inaugurational speech, his acceptance speech after he was sworn in, I really didn't see anything or hear anything that I didn't expect to. I really didn't, because he campaigned on it. And I know there was probably some discussion to not say some of the things that he did, but I'm glad he did. He laid it all out. And I think some people weren't expecting that. The border is a mess. The biggest things that he talked about, domestically, was the border. Talked about that right away. Talked about the DOJ and how it was weaponized. That is without question. Now, he didn't mention in his inaugural speech, he did not mention the pardons, but he did when he was addressing the folks in the Emancipation Room. But the DOJ was definitely weaponized, and that's something that's going to have to be addressed immediately. He also said, drill, baby, drill. That's going to happen today. As we're looking at looks like people are starting to take their seats, but that's going to have to happen. And he also mentioned the hostages being released over in the Gaza Strip, Hamas and Bibi over there from Israel agreeing to that ceasefire. Trump made it clear. Trump absolutely 100% made it clear that those hostages need to be released before he takes office, and it did occur. So the folks that were in the Biden administration, I'll give credit where credit's due, that had to have been involved in that. But I think the majority of it was the fact that 47, Donald Trump, was elected and that he made that statement. There's absolutely no question in my mind.
Executive orders being signed right now. And we saw this back in 2017 as well, and we are seeing it now. So let's listen in.
Isn't that something? It was a great event. We went to the helicopter. It was freezing. The sun is a little deceptive.
Yes, it is.
So what would you like us to do?
Sign your orders.
Official documents.
Okay, I assume they're going to be happy with these documents?
Yeah, they're just, they're. You might not be here.
It's the next step.
It's a tradition.
Sir, the first is 22 cabinet and cabinet level appointments for your signature.
Okay.
These are the official documents signing. Like I said, recognizing who the cabinet appointees are.
Okay.
The next one will be, excuse me. The next one will be 47 sub-cabinet level appointments, sir.
But you don't have to sign 47 times.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. You now have 31 acting designations and appointments to effectively take control of the government. Let's do that. That's important.
That's important, isn't it?
I think we have 15 commission chairman and acting chairman appointments.
Send it.
Commission chairman and acting chairman.
He was number one at Harvard also. You know that?
Good counsel.
They have something in common.
Thank you, sir. Lastly, we have a proclamation ordering on all future inauguration days, including this inauguration day, that flags shall be flown at full mast.
Very important.
That was a beautiful place to have an inauguration tonight. The sound was so good. The temperature was 72 degrees, but the sound was so good. Maybe something to think about.
Thank you.
Okay?
Good acoustics. Yes.
All right. Now,
That's it.
thank you. We go to lunch.
Great.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Go.
Well, it looks like he signed all those appointment for the existing and acting administrators, cabinet members, so that government can still be head up by somebody until the rest of his administration is put into place. I believe that covers almost everything. Mostly ceremonial, of course, but yeah. So again, talking about the speech, and I'm waiting to get some word from DC. So we have a couple people that are watching so that I can recognize them. But I thought the speech was really good. It was definitely a upbeat, bring together all Americans. I thought the clergy that was there was fantastic. I thought it was run well. And again, there's probably a lot of things he could have said. He said a lot, though, about how things need to be righted. This ship needs to be righted for sure. You could see many of them folks who are leaders in the Senate and the House are walking out. Some of them Democrats. Chuck Schumer, Scalise, J.D. Vance, then the speaker, current speaker. But I really enjoyed the fact that you got to see the choirs up close. It was a very intimate setting. Everybody's kind of piled in there, but I thought it went off really well. Like I said, Carrie Underwood did a great job, and the American tenor singing the national anthem. But I think it made me feel better that I was going inside. It made me feel better that I was going inside because I want everybody to stay safe. I think the opportunity or the chance that something negative could have happened when it was going to be outside. They haven't shown a whole lot outside because all the festivities has been inside. I would like to see Fox Live 1 show some things outside to see what's going on more. But again, it's just a testament to how fantastic our first responders and law enforcement and military are. You know, I know Secret Service has been taking a hit a lot. I'm not saying that that's not warranted in some cases, but at the same time, it's a tough job. And I had a great opportunity to work closely with those folks, Capitol Police, the FBI. But a lot of my time in the last third of my career was with the Secret Service. And I'm telling you right now, with some of the larger events that we have done, again, they could not have gone off and could not have been as successful as they were if it wasn't for the local PDs. And in this case, local police departments, fire officers, National Guards and stuff coming together to make these kind of things happen. And it wouldn't be possible without those men and women in uniform. So super proud of them. And once I get word, I will recognize some of my favorite people in the world. But right now they have some statements being made at another venue, and then they're still waiting for the president to arrive at the luncheon. But a very busy day for sure. And we're going to talk more in depth about individual things that were said and that occurred tomorrow in the live stream for the first full day of President Donald J. Trump, 45 and 47. But I thought he did a great job. And I'm glad that things are going off without a hitch. And I hope they continue to do so. If anything pops off, I will for sure jump back on. But let's listen to some of these comments and some of the views. If you're watching, you see some of the views of the luncheon that's about ready to kick off. So here we go.
Man, our president has never wavered. And here we are today. And at 12:01, right up the street, he put his hand on a Bible and he swore an oath to make America great again. So let me ask you, and let me ask all of America, are you ready for America to be wealthy again? Are you ready for America to be safe again? Are you ready for America to be strong again? Are you ready for America to be great again? Are you ready for Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance to be the president and the vice president of the United States of America? Pretty cool, huh? Thank you, America, and thank you for everything that you did to make today a reality.
All right, that was the GOP chairman, Michael Whatley, speaking to a crowd out in D.C. as we get you ready for the inaugural luncheon. And looks like that is about to start here. So perfect timing, everyone, as more people are standing up. But I do just want to show you what Donald Trump was signing just moments ago. The executive order, first off, was signing in his cabinet appointments. The second one was a sub-cabinet level appointments. And third was acting designations there. So I just wanted to bring that to you. The fourth, chairman appointments. The fifth, the flag shall be flown at full staff for all future inauguration days there. So that was just some of the early signings from President Trump. And now we do give you a live look here at the luncheon right now. And let's go back out to some more speakers ahead of this luncheon, where we do have Representative Donalds speaking right now.
For years, they said it wasn't going to happen. For years, they said, no, it's going to be the left's way. But it was the American people who looked the craziness of the left in the eye and said, we need common sense. We need real vision. We need that is going to.
I definitely believe that they need to take a victory lap. I do. I think, Donald Trump will continue to do his rallies. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? Everybody enjoys it. He enjoys it. He goes everywhere. I know he's going to go to California almost immediately. He's going there this week. I know people were kind of busting Joe Biden's balls for going to California vacationing while all that's going on. Yeah, it's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. You know, as the former president, you can make appearances. He's probably not going to do that. He's going to go vacation while the fires are blazing. Like I said, not a good look, but he's not under any obligation. There's a picture of Pete Hegseth at one of the luncheon tables. I thought he did fantastic. And we've talked about this on an earlier On the Range podcast. It didn't seem to me that it would be too difficult to sound really, really smart when you have people that were the one, like the senator from Hawaii and Adam Schiff from California. When they're the ones asking you questions, you can sound like a freaking genius. They were terrible questions. They didn't ask anything. Looks like the president's going to be entering the room. So let's go ahead and go back to the coverage.
We have a great economy. Yes, we're going to get out of stupid wars and dumb conflicts, and we're going to have peace through strength. Yes, our soldiers are going to be focused on their core mission, and that is to kill the enemy and to come home.
Representative Donald's speaking, but we are getting some movement right now at the luncheon. So that is where we want to bring you next, right here on Live Now from Fox.
Please remain standing for the honors and the invocation. Ladies and gentlemen, escorting the Vice President of the United States, ranking member of the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, the Honorable Deb Fischer and Mr. Fischer.
What a remarkable room that is. Had the privilege of being able to go in there.
The Vice President of the United States, the Honorable J.D. Vance.
The Emancipation Room as well, and the Rotunda. Man, if you've never been to D.C., there's the Vice President and his wife entering the hall, the luncheon. But if you've never been to these places, especially if you love America, even if you don't love America and you live in America, whatever, I think you need to jump on the train and come in for the big win, but that's just me. You got to go visit these places. They're absolutely amazing. And as we're watching, just got word from
Ladies and gentlemen, escorting the President of the United States,
one of my favorite people, and I'll be acknowledging them here in a second. Absolute, couldn't be more proud. And we'll talk about that here in a second, but it looks like the president's going to be walking into luncheon here in a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, the Honorable Donald John Trump and Mrs. Trump.
President entering the luncheon, if you're listening and not watching, looking very presidential. Good call by Melania on the hat. Everybody looking great, looking very presidential. I'm sure he's going to say some words. But again, I'm going to say this. I can't say this enough. How proud I am and how much I love my local PD. I have my oldest daughter who is there working the event. Couldn't be more proud of her and the team that she's with. the commanding officer I'm very, very good friends with and super proud of them as well. And just can't state enough how important it is to have those men and women out there from our local PD representing our community at today's festivities. And it's just absolutely amazing.
And Madam First Lady, Mr. Vice President and Madam Second Lady.
I want to make sure that I let them know that I understand that they didn't get to do the full duty, but it's just as important. And they know that, and they're going to be out there as long as they're needed, and they're not going to complain. And they're just wonderful Americans. The men and women of our local police department here who are out there representing him are a great representation of the people that we have in the first responder corps in this United States that go out there every day and just do a fantastic job. So, like I said, Secret Service gets a lot of the credit and they deserve a ton. It's not easy to put these events on, but again, they could not be done if it wasn't for local law enforcement from other regions of the country going there and to assist. So hats off to all of them. Stay safe. I worry about you out there. Old Sarge worries. And there's a small part of me that wishes I was there with you, but I know you guys got it. You guys and girls got it under control and doing a great job. So hats off. Let's see if there's any more comments that we can get. If there are any of you that are out there right now and you're out there helping with the event or you had something to do with it, hit us in the comments or send us an email at beourguest@ontherangepodcast. Let's get back to the festivities.
Event to the present, and it is on us to write that history right now. Speaking of art, the painting right here before you, I chose this painting for this lunch this summer, and it's titled American Horizon. It's by Jane Wilson, who grew up on her family farm in Seymour, Iowa. Coming from the middle of our country, Senator Fisher and I both liked the painting because the artist is from America's heartland, but the horizon could easily be Florida, Mr. President. I will also note that this is the first time in history we are featuring the work of a woman artist at this lunch. Institute of Chicago for their assistance. Looking at the vast open landscape of this painting, we're drawn to the bottom of the frame where the land or the water, depending on where you're from, meets the sky and the horizon endures. The enduring horizon is especially meaningful for us today as we mark our enduring democracy as we approach its 250th anniversary. It's a reminder that what's over the horizon is our next chapter. And it is my prayer that the people in this room can write that chapter together. I'd now like to ask U.S. Senate Chaplain Dr. Barry Black, and we thank God he is back with us and in good health, to deliver the invocation, after which lunch will be served. Thank you.
Let us pray. King of kings and Lord of lords, whose kingdom is above all earthly kingdoms, and who judges all lesser sovereignties, look with favor upon President Donald John Trump and Vice President James David Vance. Empower them with the wisdom and courage needed for our times. Protect them from the vicissitudes and challenges that obstruct the making of a world of justice, peace, and righteousness. Lord, give them a deep desire to do their best for our country and world, and a determination to act in ways pleasing to you. Preserve their families in health and strength by your grace and power. Bless now this luncheon as each of us finds your grace sufficient for every need. We pray in your sovereign name. Amen.
This is what my house looks like. We cleaned in 3 months. Let's talk about how much that actually costs. So using Homoglow, the first cost was $39.
Hats off to the clergy that have been there today.
The cleaner I chose
Absolutely amazing.
did an amazing job. So I
The benedictions
$49 a month
and the
for unlimited.
invocations have just been fantastic. The benedictions on the after the remarks when the president was sworn in, home run. I can't wait to learn more about him, and I want to focus on him on a show one of these days. Killed it. And I like having faith being pushed in front for a change and not the feelings of us mere mortal humans. I love the fact that Martin Luther King was mentioned multiple times because let's face it, the progressives do not like Martin Luther King. They don't want to hear anything about everybody being judged by the content of their character and not their color. They don't want to hear nothing about that. Looks like Charlie Kirk's making some comments at another location to a crowd. Again, it's going to be a busy day for the president. He is going to personally appear at all these locations. I guarantee it. But back to Martin Luther King, it was great to see in that rotunda, that great statue of him. I had the opportunity of seeing that firsthand. My oldest boy and I on a very memorable trip to our nation's capital. And I liked hearing about it. And I love the fact that he was at the front of many of these speeches. Because like I said, the progressive ignored him. They don't like him. They don't want to hear it. But there's nothing more American than that speech by the late Dr. Martin Luther King, I Had a Dream. Go read it. It's on the internet. But anyway, the clergy just hit it out of the park. But anyway, let's get back to the luncheon. It's going to be good to see who's there enjoying it, who he invited. It was awesome to see some of the folks in the gallery where the president was. Dana White was there. Elon Musk was there. It's good to see Barron and all the other kids. Don Jr. had an opportunity to meet him. And JD Vance and his family, the young family, just awesome. I thought it was great. I thought everybody did a good job on the pivot. And, likewise to the men and women of law enforcement and the men and women of our military. And yeah, I hope everybody's enjoying this, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to split unless something else happens that I want to cover tonight. Maybe the rally at the Capital One Arena. But if not, I will see you tomorrow. I will do a live and I'll have some things clipped up so we can talk about it. I thought there were some key things. Like I said, no huge surprises for me. When it came to his speech and his comments after being sworn in, not a lot. But I want everybody out there who are working the events to be safe. Make sure you watch out for each other. And another thing too, I'm going to pray for not only the men and women in uniform, I'm going to pray for the president and the vice president's safety and their families. Just keep them safe. And, as always, God bless our law enforcement, our first responders, and our troops. And everybody, enjoy the rest of festivities. Enjoy being American. Jump on board. You don't have to have the same opinions about how things could be done, but you're all Americans. We love you. And make sure you check us out. Like, subscribe, and follow. Leave us a comment below. And if you have any direct information about what we talked about today or any of our other shows, go to be our guest at ontherangepodcast.com. One word. Everybody, be safe. Have a great rest of your day. And we'll see you on the range.